going on, Jerome? So last year, even though the Vikings were 13-4, wanting some more, as well as they won the division, the defense was one of the worst in the National Football League. It was very poopy, and it was the main reason why the Vikings lost in the wild card round against Dana frickin' Jones and the Giants. And coordinator Ed Donishell had to go. Frankly, he should have gone mid-season, but it is what it is. And last year, the Vikings defense was just not good. 28th in points, 31st in yards, and it was just a mess. How demoralizing is it that in 11 of 18 games you allowed 400 plus yards, and 13 of 18 games you allowed 24 plus points, which is not good. It's no bueno, man. Enter one Brian Flores, former Miami Dolphins head coach, former Patriots, a longtime assistant. The pride of Boston College was going to get after it, and the things that we predicted before the start of the year is like, hey, what's going to happen with Flores in this defense? Changing the culture, no excuses. Flores is known as a hard-nosed coach, a very demanding coach, but they're going to be fun, fast, and aggressive, and something that the Vikings didn't do under Donishell last year. They didn't blitz. They didn't do anything. They did nothing, and it was very, very frustrating watching that week in, week out. But we knew that Flores was going to take the existing personnel and bring heat. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. And the Flow Father. And I honestly feel like maybe a portion of the fan base is just looking at Flores like, hey, Flores looking good. Kevin O'Connell, hey, your offense is ass. Thank you. Even though, yes, no JJ and no Kirk Cousins, but it's understandable. But the Flores defense this year is getting a lot of love around the league, as well as the media is starting to take notice. So our guy Ted Wynn, Raiders film analysis, basically he was answering Raiders fans saying that switching to Jimmy G was not going to cut it against the Vikings, who, hey, shutout, by the way. It gets lost in the mix. It's like everyone's like, oh, well, you know the Vikings only scored 3 points. Hey, what about Flores' defense pitching a shutout on the road? It's kind of a big deal, man. Right. And Robert Mays, well-respected football analyst. A good rule this year is to not make sweeping quarterback declarations after playing the Vikings. Flores incited panic about Jordan Love, even though he's kind of ass, made San Francisco look mortal, because Brock Purdy is mortal, and legit altered other teams' quarterback plans. It's like grocery shopping when you're hungry, have a snack first. Opposing offensive coaches have privately talked about Flores this year like he's the boogeyman. That defense is a singular challenge right now. And Flores... what Flores is doing with the defense is that he's talked about it, and some of the players have given a little bit of insight where Flores is incorporating a lot of collegiate principles and a lot of collegiate schemes, notably sampled from the Pitt Panthers. And the whole thing is that Flores is bringing something different to the table. He's adjusting his defense. He's making the offense adjust to him and the personnel. And the defense is having a ton of fun, man. And especially as of late, the defense has carried the team. It's one of the main reasons why the Vikings went on that 5-game winning streak where they allowed less than 20 points in 4 of those 5 wins. The Broncos game is whatever, 21 points, whatever. You should still be able to overcome that. They allowed 10 points at home against 12 points at home against the Bears and lost because the offense only scored freaking 10. And then, of course, a shutout against the Raiders, which is a big deal. And the defense has allowed one touchdown in the last 12 quarters of football, and it's only getting better. And yes, the Bengals and Jake Browning right now are riding high, but hey, just wait till Flores gets a little something, a little stank going on Saturday. And also, hey, the Lions, they've been a turnover machine, and Jared Goff, frankly, should be on the verge of getting benched for Teddy Bridgewater. And Dan Campbell and the Lions, they got to be scared about what's going to be going on. Of course, the Packers already got a taste. They're going to get a second helping here in a hot second. So, I mean, this Flores defense is starting to run things. And the whole thing about it, too, is like, hey, if the offense can literally just score 21 points a game, I mean, the Vikings could make a run at the same, because defense does travel, and the defense is generating turnovers, and the defense is getting after it. And this is a Super Bowl caliber defense right now. It really is. And if the offense, whether it's Mullins, whether it's Jaron Hall, whether it's whoever, can actually get a little bit of spark going and distribute the football and just go from there, it'd be great. The Vikings defense this year, averaging 18.6 points allowed per game, number 5 in the league. They're top 10 in yards allowed, and other areas where they're top 5, top 10 first downs, rushing yards per attempt, red zone percentage, which has gotten precipitously better as the season went along. Blitz percentage, they're number 1. Numero uno. Last year, they were bottom 5. And then also missed tackles. I mean, the Vikings were bottom 5 in the league last year in missed tackles, but this year, they're 4th in the league with only 49. And you notice that there's a lot more fundamentals going on at all levels of this defense, and it's something that Flores is bringing. And a couple factors about trying to keep him in the fold. Number one, there will be job opportunities where Flores, details with contracts with assistants and even head coaches usually aren't known, but generally coordinators sign 2, sometimes 3-year contracts. So if he is going to leave, it's probably going to be for only a head coaching job. He's not going to take a lateral move, so don't have to worry about that. But there's going to be plenty of opportunities. I think that there could be a record number of coaches fired this offseason because there's always a couple surprises, and there's a couple guys who are definitely dead men walking. And Flores could have his choice. I mean, a couple things that do complicate that is, of course, what happened with the Dolphins and ongoing litigation. And could some owners sort of sidestep Brian Flores? Sure, but also that works both ways because I think Flores has had enough of a resume, and especially this year with the Vikings, where he can be choosy about where he wants to go because of what happened in Miami. He wants to go to a place that has a stable owner and a GM that he can work with. I mean, other than that, he's not going to take a job just to take a job, even though, yes, there is only 32 of these things, but Flores has already been a head coach. Flores understands that side of the business, and he's not going to take a job just to take a job, just like a lot of young coaches would. I don't think he's going to do that. Money shouldn't be a factor. Right? Where Flores, if he wants to be the highest paid coordinator in the league, yes, that'd be very easy to do. Also, take into account that his contract with the Dolphins is now run out of deferred money. So, whatever. So he had a 5-year deal. He was fired after 3 seasons. So last year when he was with the Steelers as an assistant and this year Vikings as a defense coordinator, he was still getting paid by the Dolphins. Now that money runs out. So that could be a factor. Power. That shouldn't be a factor. Flores is basically the head coach of the defense, and Kevin O'Connell abdicated all of that responsibility, and rightfully so. Say in free agency and the draft, he obviously has that with the Vikings. Flores has talked a number of times about Blackman, about Pace Jr., about Byron Murphy, so he does have a say in free agency and the draft, and it does seem like Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, it's almost like there's too little ego and there's too much looking for a collaboration. At a certain point, someone has to be like, hey, this is what we're doing. And I think Flores does have that personality on the defensive side of the ball. Also, 2024 Vikings potential. Is JJ going to be extended and good to go? Is Kirk Cousins going to be back? Which I think that certainly would sweeten the pot a little bit on him staying as opposed to just taking a random head coaching job or maybe even a college job. Who knows? But I do think that the Vikings and Flores, they do need to keep things together because, again, this defense is top 5, top 10, and if the offense can literally just get his head out of its ass, they can do some great things this year as well as going forward, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. The Vikings need to keep Brian Flores next season no matter what. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.